What if every door you knocked on closed in your face? For him, it happened 50 times. But then, something changed. This is the story of a man who was rejected at every door, until one opened that changed everything. He stood at the doorway, clutching his folder of applications like it was the last shield he had left. Another office, another door, another polite smile from the receptionist followed by the same cold sentence. "We're sorry, but we've decided to move forward with other candidates." It was the 10th rejection this month, the 50th this year. Every no carried the same weight, heavy, suffocating, humiliating. At night, when he walked back home, it was the same story replayed in his head. The laughter of people who didn't believe in him. The whispers of failure echoing louder than his own voice. Some people can laugh at rejection. Some people can brush it off. He wasn't one of them. Each rejection carved into him like a wound that never healed. He wasn't just being rejected at jobs. He was being rejected at life. At some point, he asked himself, what is wrong with me? Why does every door close in my face? But life never answered back. One evening, after another rejection, he took a longer route home. The city lights blurred with the drizzle of rain. That's when he noticed him. A man sitting near an abandoned building, dressed in an old coat, hat tilted low, silent as stone. Something about him felt out of place. Not homeless, not lost, just waiting. As he walked past, the stranger spoke without looking up. "Strange, isn't it? How many doors you must knock on before one finally opens?" The young man froze. How could this man know? "Excuse me?" he asked. The stranger finally raised his head. His eyes were sharp but kind, like he carried both storms and sunshine within them. "You think rejection is punishment?" the stranger said softly. "But rejection is instruction. You just haven't learned to read it yet." And just like that, he went silent again, as if the conversation had ended. The young man stood there confused. Part of him wanted to walk away, but another part whispered, "What if this man knows something I don't?" So he asked, "What do you mean?" The stranger smiled faintly. "Come back tomorrow. If you're serious, I'll tell you more." And without another word, the man leaned back against the wall, as though he had vanished into the shadows. The next evening, curiosity won. He returned. The stranger was there, waiting, as if he had always been part of the alley. "Why do doors close?" the stranger asked. "Because people don't believe in me," the young man answered bitterly. "No," the stranger shook his head. "Doors close because the wrong ones must stay shut. Imagine if every door opened for you. You would be lost in rooms that were never meant to hold your destiny." The young man frowned. It sounded poetic, but he wasn't sure it made sense. "Listen carefully," the stranger continued. "Every rejection carries a clue. Sometimes it shows you where you don't belong. Sometimes it shapes you for where you do. If you only see rejection as failure, you miss the hidden map." The young man thought about it. For the first time, rejection wasn't just a slap in the face. Maybe it was a signpost. That night, as he lay in bed, he asked himself, "What is this rejection trying to teach me?" It was a new question, and questions, he realized, were stronger than complaints. The mysterious stranger didn't become a mentor overnight. He didn't hand out solutions. Instead, he gave fragments of wisdom, piece by piece. "Go to 10 doors this week," he once said. "But I've already tried." "Not for a job," the stranger interrupted. "For knowledge. Watch how people speak. Notice what they value. Listen more than you talk." The young man obeyed. For the first time, he walked into offices and shops not asking for work but observing. He noticed things he had never seen before. How confident people introduced themselves. How they carried stories, how they made others feel important. It was as if rejection had blinded him, but observation began to open his eyes. "Now," the stranger said another day, "knock on a door you fear most." The young man hesitated but chose a place he once dreamed of working. A company so far above his level that he had never dared try. They rejected him in minutes, but this time he walked out smiling. He realized rejection from the highest door hurt no more than rejection from the lowest. Step by step, lesson by lesson, the sting of rejection turned into fuel, but growth is never a straight climb. 1 week after applying everywhere and getting silence in return, the old despair came flooding back. He sat in his room, fists clenched, asking, "Why am I still failing? Why hasn't the right door opened yet?" That night, he returned to the alley and found the stranger. His voice broke as he asked, "When will it happen? When will someone finally say yes to me?" The stranger looked at him for a long time before answering. "You don't need everyone to say yes. You only need one. But you are not ready for that one yet. You are still begging to be accepted. The day you walk as though you are the prize, that day the right door will recognize you." It was a harsh truth. The young man realized he had been chasing acceptance instead of building confidence. He was knocking on doors hoping someone would give him worth, instead of realizing he already had it. The change wasn't instant, but it began. He started walking differently, speaking differently, preparing differently. Instead of asking, "Will they accept me?" he asked, "Do I belong here?" And strangely, people noticed. Interviews no longer ended with polite dismissals. Some ended with real conversations. Some even ended with, "We'll keep your file for future opportunities." The rejections hadn't disappeared, but they no longer crushed him. They became feedback. They became training. Every no felt less like a wound and more like a teacher. And slowly, almost quietly, his confidence grew. Months passed. He was sharper, stronger, calmer. One day, he walked into an office that felt different. The people listened. The manager leaned forward. The conversation flowed. When it ended, the manager said the words he had been waiting years to hear. "We'd like to offer you a position." That yes felt like sunlight after endless nights. But here was the deeper truth. It wasn't just the manager who opened the door. It was every rejection that had prepared him to walk through it. Without them, he wouldn't have been ready. He returned to the alley that evening, eager to share the news. But the stranger was gone. The wall was empty. The place silent. It was as if he had never existed. The young man stood there for a long time, realizing something. Maybe the stranger wasn't meant to stay. Maybe he was only meant to guide until the lesson was learned. Years later, he told his story to others. People asked him, "How did you survive so many rejections?" And he would smile and say, "Because rejection is not the end. Rejection is the compass. You don't need every door to open, you just need the right one. And when that one opens, all the no's you heard before will make sense." If you're listening right now, maybe you feel what he felt. Doors closing, dreams slipping, people laughing, opportunities disappearing. And maybe you're asking the same question he asked, "Why always me?" Here's the truth. Doors close to protect you from the wrong rooms. Doors close to prepare you for the right one. Rejection isn't a wall, it's a compass. You don't need every yes, you only need one. And that one yes can erase years of rejection. Here are small practical steps you can start with. 1. Reframe rejection. Don't ask why me. Ask what is this teaching me? To build confidence in small tasks. Speak to strangers. Hold eye contact. Practice introductions. Confidence is a muscle. Seek feedback, not approval. Every no is data. Use it for. Stop begging. Start valuing yourself. Walk like the prize. Because you are. 5. Be patient. Diamonds take pressure. Butterflies take cocoons. Your yes is growing, even if you don't see it. So, if you're tired of being rejected, remember this story. Don't give up, don't walk away, don't let closed doors define you. Because the truth is simple. You are only one yes away. One yes away from a new life. One yes away from proving them wrong. One yes away from rewriting your story. So keep knocking, keep learning, keep walking as though you are the prize. And when your yes comes, because it will, you'll look back at every rejection and whisper, "Thank you. You were preparing me for this."